Maresca is not cooking. But you know,
they cook again.
He cooks small beginning of the season.
No, he's still cooking.
No, he's not cooking anything.
He's still cooking because according to you, I said when I said it, Maresca in the food.
See.
When I said for beginning of the season,
I don't think it's fair for you to say Maresca is not cooking because it could have gone either way this season for Chelsea.
But it didn't go.
But it didn't go. So Maresca cooked.
What did he cook?
He could have gone 12th Avenue. It could have gone where Man U are. It could have gone relegation.
Man U were there before.
They are fighting for top 4.
Now let's get it started.
Play ball! Chelsea beat Spurs in the London derby. Like it happened at Stamford Bridge. It was 1-goal new. Good cross from Palmer. Good header for Fernandes to score the only goal in that game. There are a couple of chances between both teams, but Angie team lost a game. It's one of the worst seasons I have seen Spurs play in recent season. But for Chelsea, they are back to the top 4. They are displaced City in that top 4 position. Remaining 8 games remaining. Let's see who is going to actually finish in that top 4. Okay, good game for Chelsea, good game for Palmer, good game plan for Maresca. We could argue that Sancho did not play well, he didn't play well. That's what everybody's talking about on social media platform. But good, I think Justin coming back in that thing has helped them. Even though he doesn't score a whole lot of goals, but you could see what he brings to that team.
Yes, you can't begrudge him not scoring as much as he should. He's just back from injury, so of course it's going to take him a couple of games to get back into the rhythm, but you could see what he adds to the team on the night. And then secondly, for Chelsea, you saw the impact Palmer has and keep having at Chelsea right now, which is he's always providing, he's always scoring, he's always bringing people on, he's always creating something out of nothing for the team. And without that, the team feels flat without him. The difference is that when Nico Jackson is up front, he's the conduit in that front line because he helps bring other people into the team. Sometimes he drops back into the midfield to help the team build forward. But on the night, Chelsea got away with a 1-0 win. It could have been more because they had a goal overturned. Secondly, Tottenham also had a goal overturned. But the missing piece for Tottenham FC was the lack of Kulusevski in that midfield.
Everybody always complain about one person. Either Solanke is out, or Romeo is out, or the Kikupa is out.
See,
everybody is still together.
I didn't feel
Kulusevski is the only player in that midfield that is the creative spark.
I didn't feel it.
And we only felt a creative spark when Sarr came in. That's the only time.
Sarr is not creative. He adds more energy to the midfield.
It's just the energy level for me. And Madison for me is the creative force in the midfield.
I know the
Bentancur, they create. But as say in this game, they found a way to always fall into brick walls of Caicedo, making those tackles, the last ditch tackles, Chalobah and what's called Luis Cowell. This defense was top notch because you saw there was a run Solanke made, I think in the 30th minute of the game. There was this dashing run he made, beat all the midfielders, beat Kopama, beat Enzo, beat even Caicedo, and fell straight at Cowell's feet. You get? If you have defenders that could defend that well against top strikers, even Son, the same thing, did that same run and beat Gusto on the right side of the Chelsea defense, beat Cowell, and he fell straight into Cowell. If you have defenders that could cover up the lapses of the other defenders, then you know you have a team. And in this game, Chelsea were defensively solid. You get? Until they made that sub and they had that energy, not energy level in midfield, because Chelsea are already outplaying you in midfield with Enzo, Moses, and Cole. They were already outplaying you because they had the energy, they had the pace, they had the tackles, they have everything in their side. But you only had the ball playing midfielders. You had the Bentancur and Madison who were just ball playing midfielders. None of them could actually win you balls back.
That's what I'm saying. Now, those guys were not effective in the team.
With Sarr coming in, they were able to win the ball back. You saw how they won the tackle and got the goal. You saw how they dashed into pocket spaces and tried to create something for themselves. So I feel like for the night, as long as we want to keep hyping the Chelsea brilliance, I also fault the lack of performance from the Tottenham Hotspur side.
Talking about the goal, good goal from Enzo Fernandes, good cross from Palmer. Palmer is the guy that ticks this Chelsea team, especially when he has runners in front of him.
Yes.
If you look at the difference between when Jackson is playing, I think he has more freedom because Chelsea makes a whole lot of runs. You can see a whole lot of more of the field when Jackson is playing with him. Good cross from him, good goal for Fernandes.
Now, with the goal for Enzo, you saw the run off Jackson. you make the run. I keep saying it. Sometimes you make a run and you're like, the ball is yours. But look behind him. There's somebody else there. He could have made the jump for the for the aerial duel and lost it. Chelsea could have made that jump and not the ball off wide. We know for sure. But he noticed the run behind him and he noticed that the person running behind him had a clear-cut chance at jumping and getting to the ball than he did. Then he had to make this guy's run for defenders to follow him. And this guy was running into a free nodder. Enzo behind him. So it's about communication in the field. And if defenders does not communicate and the attackers communicate better than you as a defender, you have a problem. And for that goal, I felt like they brought in Enzo into that goal. But good game all around for Chelsea attack. Just like we say, for the Chelsea attack, they had a good goal. They had a good game. Sancho playing one and Vicario saving. Vicario had one of the best nights of his life, saving many of the goals. It could have been 3, it could have been 5, it could have been a whole lot of numbers. You get there was a handball incident deflected from Vicario's save, but the guy was already on ground. You can't give it. There was a save, I think a last ditch save from Sancho's shot that he decided maybe I think he injured himself while trying to make that save. So Vicario was, for me, the man of the match for Tottenham Hotspur side. But the goal from Enzo was just one of those telling moments to say, okay, fine, we need this win, we need these 3 points, we need to displace people who are above us. We've been out of the top 4 for more than 24 hours. Let's go back there.
Well, John, if you look at that goal in particular, there was a lot of controversy. Apart from that, there was a lot of controversy in that game. Still, let's start with that disallowed oath, because Angie was actually outside. That's what they talked about his press conference, that the referee did, that VAR did the other one. They took almost more than 5 minutes to review a particular goal. That sometimes what the argument is always that if it takes long to review a goal, you should give it. That is always the argument. With people like the pundits like us, if you can decide, like for example, that this is a foul or this is a goal, somehow just give it, because if it's a clear foul, obviously look at it and just come and give it.
No, it's simple.
If you are taking time to review, that means you are not sure that it's a foul. We are looking for an excuse to make it a foul. So, but if looking at it in general, do you think that particular goal should be ruled out?
The goal should not be ruled out, because let's come back to the fundamentals, right? The decision had been taken, the goal had been scored. If you are coming back to review, the
VAR has to be clear.
VAR has to be clear. What is the error on the build-up to the goal? And you give that particular scene to the referee, and the referee review, and then a decision is made. But when you start taking more than 2 minutes, 3 minutes, what are you?
You are looking for angles.
It's crazy, man. Yes or no? Was it not? Give it and let's move on. Because it's added extra stress, added pressure. You have everybody having their own separate interpretations, what they want to get out of the incident, and at the end of the day, the team that scored the goal have lost it on the night, and it could have been a draw, like I was calling for earlier before the game started. But I feel like this decision should be spot on. It should be clear. We don't need to spend 5 minutes reviewing it. It should be run the tape back and let the coach the referee make a decision. Don't make the decision for the referee.
Now, so if you look at it, VAR it was supposed to be clear and obvious. That's why they brought in VAR. If they are delaying it, that means you are looking for angles. You are looking for a reason. That's why sometimes you can review something and review now will not say, with my own discretion, I don't want to give it as a foul. I'll call it a goal. Another review will say, it's a foul, and so that means it's not clear and obvious.
And that's why, if you look at the games, that's why some referees have the habit of taking a decision and damning the VAR call to come and inspect, because they've already seen it once and they back their decision. So in that scenario, I would say that referee should have the upper hand, not VAR coming in to come and see 15 different angles of an upper.
You have to still make the decision, final decision.
If you want to make the decision as a referee, go to the screen, go to the side monitor and look at it for yourself. Tell them to play it for you in real time. That's one. I think earlier this season, that's what most referees were doing in beginning of the season.
Yes.
Until they start the final, they go take rig election. You understand? And to rig election, you guys.
And start doing slow motion.
Slow motion. You now slow it to the very, like, as if even snail itself will come fast past the video where you watch. So for me, I felt like, go to the monitor, play the video back in real time. Maybe at least a little slower. Maybe at 0.7. You get, not the 0.01 slow motion range, but at 0.7 you can still see the thing at almost real time, and also slower than real time. But I feel like VAR is looking for ways to paint the game.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
until it affects your team, because it gets teams say they affect.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Until it affects your team, you no go cry. You go talk say VAR na top.
The issue that we're talking about VAR when it's Everton defender that kicked Maresca, and even though he cleared the ball, but the follow up was a stud.
Yes.
Shown. So
Yes.
referee will give us a red card. So referee will just say continue that the way Everton referee that did with Everton
just give the yellow card
give the yellow card and continue. But if you look at this game generally, it's always obvious that sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't go your way. But for Angie and Spurs yesterday, it didn't go their way. It took time to review that game, but they decided, the whole referee team decided to disallow that goal, and Chelsea was leading in that game 1-0. So finally, top 4 battle for Chelsea. Chelsea are back to top 4. There are teams there trying to finish that top 4. That means Newcastle is there, and obviously Manchester City, that is the obvious candidate that want to finish in that top 4 position. But Maresca is not cooking. But you know,
they cook again.
He cooks small beginning of the season.
No, he's still cooking.
No, he's not cooking anything.
He's still cooking because according to you, I said when I said it, Maresca in the food.
See.
When I said for the beginning of the season,
I don't think
forward.
it's fair for you to say Maresca is not cooking, because it could have gone either way this season for Chelsea.
But it didn't go.
But it didn't go.
It was,
so Maresca cooked.
What did he cook?
It was.
He could have gone 12th Avenue. It could have gone where Man U are. It could have gone
Man U were there before.
They are fighting for top 4. And remember what he told you guys, that Premier League is not on the table. Man City, Liverpool, they are not on the table. So bro, look at all the indices and statistics that he came with in the job. Now, granted that the fans have their own angle, because the club can have an arrangement. If the fan sentiment goes negative too much, their hands will be forced. But barring that happening, he's had a fantastic season.
Do you think that they're going to finish that top 4 also? If you look at the way they are playing,
I pulled up a list for you before, and I'm going to put it up again. Chelsea's last 8 games, starting from Brentford to the last game of the season, is Nottingham Forest. They still have Man United to play. They still have Liverpool to play. They still have their landlords
and Fulham
to play against. So these 4 games I just mentioned for you: Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Man United, and Fulham. You know that there's this possible 12 points is gone. You get
wow.
This possible 12 points.
You don't even believe that Chelsea can win any points from that game.
From who?
Liverpool or
from Man United. That is undecided Man United. Okay, fine. Let's say they win.
Nottingham Forest.
No, let's say they take the points from Man United. So let's say in the possible 12 points, we are seeing a possible 9 points gone, because Nottingham Forest is definitely a no-no. Fulham is definitely a no-no. Liverpool is definitely a no-no. So they're maybe Man United. Top 4 is still possible, because Man City still gets their own. You get Aston Villa still get their own. Newcastle still get their own. Now it depends on who gets it easy. You get, if you want it the most, for these 3 teams that is remaining outside the top 4 that needs the top 4 finish, it depends on who wants it the most.
Thank you. It's not who gets it easy, it's who wants it the most.
And who wants it the most will get it. You get, because Man City are firing on all cylinders to get into the top 4. Chelsea have their own games. I don't want to mention, because we're talking about Man City now, so I don't want to mention the last 8 games of Man City. Chelsea have their own games. Newcastle have a game at hand. You get, and they are still firing down at the top 4 position. So if they win their last games, let's not go into the numbers of 9 games they have. So if they win their last 9 games, you get, then fine. We'll say so. The competition for top 4 is still very, very difficult to talk about until game week 5. Until maybe after 5
game week
5.
No, not game. I mean, after game week 33.
33. Okay, maybe 5 games to
5 games to
They can even drag in Nottingham Forest, depending on how they play in the next 3 games.
They can drag them back. So it's not they drag it, but now we're looking at only number 4 to number 7 position and seeing who is good, and even maybe number 8 position, because you could see that nobody wants to even let their foot off the pedal.
Okay, let's see what happens in that game. Chelsea are back to that top 4 position if they are going to continue in this trend, in this way they are playing. If they play the way they played yesterday, maybe just maybe they will finish in that top 4 position. For Maresca yesterday, they beat Spurs in that London derby. It was a good game for Chelsea. They played well. They had a goal disallowed in that game for a marginal offside. A whole lot of things happened in that game, but they played well. Jackson is back and firing well. Sancho did his best. Then if you look at Neto, and Madueka is back too. So most of their injured players are coming back gradually. to the team. But bad news for them, Fofana might be out for the rest of the season. But let's see what happens with Maresca and Chelsea.